Hey, I'm Jamie, Leaking Cat Model Works. Today we're going to look at painting the drum racks. For this one, I've just chose the dual drum rack that doesn't have a base. The base is will be a very similar process, except that you probably want to paint the base actually a concrete color, something like that. But this will give you the general idea. First thing, these are very fragile because the resin is very thin to get it into scale. What I recommend doing, again, there are going to be divots on the bottom of these things that maybe you can see, maybe not, but what I recommend doing is coming back with a pair of nips or toenail things. I actually bought these at Walmart. I think they're like a few bucks. I find that these work best because they're actually flush. I don't use them for my nails or anything like that. I just dedicate it all to my hobby work for trimming plastic and trimming things up. Again, if you kind of look at it, you can kind of see the supports from the resin printing that kind of stick out. And I'm just going through, making sure the pliers are flush with the plastic and just giving it a gentle squeeze to get rid of the excess supports. And I'll do that on the flat surfaces, and most of the time the supports actually come off fairly well, and you don't have to spend a lot of time doing that. There we go. Next thing what I do recommend is coming back with a primer. Get one of my brushes here, and for this I'm using a gray primer. I'm going to dip it in my primer, use my tweezers to hold it, and again, these are very fragile. And I'm just going to kind of go over the model, get some primer on it. The primer actually helps the paint adheres to the model itself. One of the things, you don't want to do too much because you start filling in the little holes. There's actually little holes in it. And what we're going to do, let's go ahead and paint it. Paint should work its way out. Yeah, that did good. If you get too much in there, you can actually blow on the model to actually blow the excess paint out. Make sure you have a base or something that's going to catch the paint. It just doesn't go off everywhere. And I'm just going to add some to the bottom of it. And I'm just giving it kind of a gentle coat of primer. And I got a little too much there in the corner, so I'm just going to do my little trick here. There we go. And there we do. We have our coat of primer on it. Now you're supposed to let it sit up and let it dry. The primer I use is pretty quick drying. Usually I do it for 15 minutes so I can come back and apply my first top coat on this. And again, I'm using brushes. You could airbrush it if you want to. Some people prefer letting it dry longer. It's really about your paint, the environment that you're in, and how much time you're willing to wait between the primer and the paint. I mean, all those factors go into it. For this video, since I'm kind of rushing it a little bit, I don't like to rush, but just to give you a general idea about the process and what it takes, I'm doing it this way. Primer should be already dry pretty much because I put a pretty thin coat of it on there. And what I'm going to do is paint this actually blue. And I'm going to put a drop of blue in my tray here. And I'm using, again, Micro Mark. I'm using flat blue. You can paint these, I think I've seen them in red, black, yellow, I don't know, orange, all different colors. They come in all different colors. Blue is one of the colors. Again, I'm going to get my tweezers here and I'm actually going to clean them off. Make sure I don't have any other paint residue on them. There we go. And I'm going to flip this around. And I'm just going to hold it from the middle since this is going to be kind of covered up with the drum anyway. Dip the paint, my paint brush into the paint, and I'm just going to start going over the surface of it. Again, just kind of just taking my time. Making sure the paint's on the surface. You want to be careful again about the holes that are in there. You don't want to fill them up with paint. And just a nice gentle coat of blue paint. And I really should have my other glasses on when I'm doing this, so I can see my up-close work. And again, I can't stress enough, you can basically just take your time. Alright, and I didn't put enough paint in. Do one more drop here. There we go. And then you get an itch on your chin. Alright, the blue paint. And doing some gymnastics here, flipping it around. Make sure you get the inside. Because there's nothing worse than actually thinking you're done with painting a model and you come back and you find out you missed a whole section of it. Not like I've ever done that before. I have. You also want to make sure you kind of paint inside the holes. To do that, just dip in a little bit of paint and just kind of sticking the paintbrush inside of those holes. Again, I use the paintbrush for this for basically small jobs. Again, if you're doing a bunch of these, you can use a airbrush. It will definitely probably take less time. For my demonstration here, the airbrush just seems to be a little bit overkill. I'm just going to touch up where the tweezers were. Make sure I get the very tops of the post. All right, and there we have it. It's a small piece for the layout, and what I would do is to let this dry for like another 15 minutes, and then I will come back, inspect it, and more than likely apply a second coat of blue paint to it, and that would just make sure everything's the same kind of uniform color. Once it's dried up, you're ready to drop your drums in place. I recommend for the drum racks using the bunghole drums that are in my shop. With the bungholes, it actually looks like somebody actually got close enough and looked that they're made that way to put a tap or something like that in there. I think that covers it for the drum and drum racks. Kind of go together. These are also available in my shop as a combo pack, so you can actually get the drum rack and the drum together. That saves a lot of time, and also it's a little bit more cost effective that way. And I think that covers it. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And just so you know, all of these models are designed by me. They're 3D printed by me, and they're not mass produced. That means if you order these, they're just not supporting a one-person shop. I use the money to invest back in the hobby. Trust me, you can ask my wife on that. And it turns into new blog posts, more blog posts, and more how-tos that help to support the model train community also. Not only the model train community, but I'm supporting other modelers out there also as well. So if you buy one, you're just not buying a part, you're invested in more designs, more how-tos, and more things that help to keep the hobby growing. And I appreciate you, and thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Again, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.